Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to share with you a very interesting revert story in which you will see that how a kidnapper turned into a reverted Muslim. Let's dive in.
I want to talk about what made me become Muslim, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I can go on and on about a lot of things, but I'm just going to keep it short for now. So, those of you who know me know that, my life has been very colorful, and, like a lot of other people's have been, not just mine. But last year I got released from prison, so I've done 3.5 years, or 3 months. I was a member of an organized crime group, as they like to say. And what I got charged with initially was a kidnapping. It was a gang-related kidnapping, and I also got charged with commercial drug supply and firearm. And what happened was, I pled guilty to everything. So I don't know if you know how it works in Australia, but if you plead guilty to everything runs concurrent. So what happened was, my legals, they negotiated that the kidnapping got downgraded to take and detain, and the firearm, it didn't have my prints or DNA on it. It actually had someone else's fingerprint on it. And the commercial drug supply, well, they couldn't prove that I was actually supplying the drugs. So obviously those drugs there in the garage of the house I was staying at, and they couldn't recover any text messages or any cash or anything that linked me to supplying the actual drugs. So all they could get me for was warehousing. And the firearm was in the same bag as the drugs. It was in the gym bag. My DNA was on the strap of the gym bag. So we said they plead guilty to that. The gang-related kidnapping was, it was what it was. But what they said on Google is an actual story. It was, we can talk about that another time. But anyway, during my time in prison, prison isn't what made me Muslim. Is actually, I did learn about Islam in prison. That was my first experience with it, because obviously I was reading books about Islam. There was a few Muslim boys which I got along with, and they were giving me many books to read, and I was reading with an open mind, but my heart didn't completely open to it. It wasn't until 2 months ago. So I got released last year, was March 2022. Now it's June 2023, and I took my shahada during Ramadan. So 2 months ago, took my shahada, and I became Muslim, and I haven't looked back. My life's changed a lot, I must say. But what happened was, I was studying language because, obviously I'm Polish, but I grew up in Australia, in Sydney, and Polish is my first language. So when I started school, I went to Parramatta Catholic school, actually. I spoke no English. I was 4 years old. I spoke no English. I could only speak Polish. And so I learned English at school. Obviously, I got Australian accent, so now my English is better than my Polish now. But I was learning Spanish when I got out of prison, because I wanted to spend time in Latin America. So I was learning Spanish for about 8 months. I can speak, I can have conversations in Spanish, basic conversations now. And what happened was I wanted to learn some Arabic because I wanted to spend some time in Dubai. So I went to a language exchange platform, and on there I met a lot of Algerian people. And this was during Ramadan. A lot of Algerians, very nice people. A lot of different people, and what kept coming up was Islam, and they were sending me, I added a few of them on my Instagram, and they were sending me reels, because I'm not much of a reader. I like to watch things. Sending me reels on Instagram. So I was watching them, and then I had a few. I have a few Lebanese friends, in Sydney, Muslim Lebanese, and then they started sending me reels as well on Instagram. And then before you know it, on my Instagram, on the Explore page, I was seeing all these reels, Islamic reels, and I was watching. And then it started coming up on my TikTok as well. So I was watching, and everything was making sense to me. And I remember, thinking, I say the light. When something comes to you, you can't just ignore it like that. I remember the day before I took my shahada, I asked my friend, a good friend of mine, I asked him, if I go to the mosque with you, is it weird for me to pray if I'm not Muslim? Because I just want to see what it feels like. So I remember he took me to the mosque. It was Lakimba Mosque. And I prayed for the first time. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just following what he was doing, and he was telling me what to do. And I remember the hairs on my arms stood up, and I felt goosebumps all over my arms, and I had a tear roll down my face, and I felt something I didn't feel before.
Subhanallah, this is the beauty of Islam, that you do not have to confess your sins before a priest or a father. You just have to confess your sins before Allah, and Allah forgives each and every sins if He wants. And it also shows that Allah can give you hidayat, or Allah can show you the straight path even in the prison.